Soon I will be transitioning from primarily making flower jewelry to writing. I actually wanted a low roof. I know a lot of people will probably be shocked by that. I think that it's very fulfilling. And these hands, I have bruises to prove it. Hi everyone, I'm Kath. This is Klaus and this is Walter, and let's go take a look inside my van. This is my 2007 Ford E250. I chose this van for a few reasons. Cost is one of them. Another reason is I actually wanted a low roof. I know a lot of people will probably be shocked by that, but I wanted something that would be easier to park in the city. Before I put the box on the roof, I actually was able to fit into like parking garages and things like that, so it gave me more options for parking when I went into cities. I haven't made many modifications to the outside of it. I try and keep it as incognito as possible, but I have added this Wii Boost, which helps me get better cell phone coverage sometimes. I added these solar powered lights on the outside that are motion sensor. That way, if I take my dog out in the middle of the night, there'll be some light, or if someone approaches the vehicle or a bear. I got them for bears. I have the box on the top that stores all of my material that I need for my markets and farmers markets for doing work. And I have a roof rack, which is no longer accessible because of the roof box. This is my kitchen. I love my kitchen. I just have this stool that I sit on whenever I cook, and it's really nice because I can access the sink to clean. I can access all of my cabinets and the different slide out extensions to my counter and my stove without moving. Down here, I have all of my pots and pans, and I have my trash can. And yeah, I have a foot pump sink, which is really good for conserving water. It makes it to where I've found about 5 gallons of water in 3 days. If you're cooking, cleaning, washing your face as much as you'd like, and using it even to drink 5 gallons in 3 days, just about. I also have the drawer over by my closet that extends the counter if I need to put things, and I have a table over here that extends the counter. And you can't see it, but there is another pop-up extension to the counter right here. So I think it's really important to have a stove that's mounted in the counter. I knew that I would never want to have a stove I had to set up every day to make coffee. And then I have an 11-pound propane tank down here. Usually lasts about 6 months, cooking every single day. So I love having that over the little green bottles. So this is my fridge. It's an ARB. It is just a refrigerator. If you wanted to make it into a freezer, I believe that's an option, but you only have a choice of one or the other. I love my fridge. The only downside is like a drain in the bottom of it that would drain even when it was plugged. So I permanently sealed it. And then it sweats on the inside, so it makes like a puddle. But don't let that deter you, because having a cooler fridge is much better to me than having a door fridge. Because I had a door fridge in 2 rental vans that I had in Australia before I built my van. And all of the items slam to the front of the door in your door fridge. And every time you open your door fridge, all of the things fall out. Not only that, but the cooler fridges hold so many more things. You can shove so much more in a cooler fridge than you can in a door fridge. So this is my closet. When I built my van, I actually intended to be able to hang clothing, and I did for a long time. I had a bar that ran across, and none of these shelves or bins were here, so I could hang my clothes so they wouldn't wrinkle, and I wanted more clothes, so that wasn't an option anymore. So I added in all these shelves. I have a mirror on the inside so I can kind of see myself. Kinda. I actually had the idea to live in a van back in 2017. I bought an RV for 3 days and I hated it because I didn't want an RV. I don't want to have to deal with a black water tank. I think they're gross. And also I wanted something that I could drive rather than having to pull something. I think it's just a lot more manageable to have your home attached to the vehicle. but that did not work out. So instead, I moved abroad for 3 years. I did not plan to come back to America. One reason was because I was very anxious. I didn't have anything here. So I decided in Australia that I'd come back to America and I'd build a van. That way, when I am in America, I would have a place to live and something to drive. But yeah, that's how I started living in a van. I don't know when that will ever end. So I have this here, and I had no idea what I was gonna put in it. I don't know why, I just built it and I was like, storage, more storage, better, right? And then I moved into the van and then I looked around and I was like, I would have had nowhere to put my food. But now it is my food pantry. Yeah, so I store all of my food in here. And then on this bottom half, I have my electronics drawer. Underneath in this box, I have my toilet. My toilet is a camp toilet. It is a toilet that you would use if you went camping, and that is how I go to the bathroom, with a camp toilet, like many people use when they go camping. So however you go to the bathroom when you go camping is how I go to the bathroom every day. So these are my cabinets. A lot of people who build vans build their cabinets to where they flip up like this, their cabinet doors. I didn't do that because it was hard, to be completely honest. Building cabinets is really hard. No one tells you how to do it. You could like watch a bunch of videos online and none of them will help because you're building square things in a not square space. So I didn't build them to flip up. I built them to flip out like a normal house. Underneath this cabinet is fiberglass that makes the bottom of the cabinet protected from the heat of the stove, so that way when the heat rises, the cabinet doesn't catch on fire or get too hot. All of my dishes, or the vast majority of them, are antiques, and I eat off of china because it makes me happy. When you're living in a small space, highly suggest hanging as much as you can. These types of things come down whenever I'm driving, so that way they don't fall. But if you hang the things that you need under the cabinets or from the roof, I have hooks all over the van, then you don't have to worry about taking up as much counter space or floor space for the same things. And that's why there's so many baskets. Advice for anyone who would like to do van life: I think that it's very fulfilling. If it's something you would like to do long term, usually the best suggestion I can give everyone is build your van as thoroughly as possible. If you're gonna live in your van full time, you should build it as much like a house as possible, in my opinion. So like that means a real stove, a place to use the bathroom, a bed that you don't need to make, and make it as easy as possible for you to live in the van full time. If you're going to have a van as a weekend warrior or adventure type thing, build it as cheaply as possible. That way you get to save all of your money for adventures and you get to just keep the necessities of the things that you want for just traveling for a few days. So this is my bed. It was really important to me to have a permanent bed that is always made. Before I built the van, I watched hundreds of videos of mainly what people hated about their van. And one of the things I found is that people very often would build like bench seats, and they never left their bed in bench mode. They never put it in bench mode. They always left it in a standard mode. And I knew that I am, once again, a very sleepy, lazy person, and I wanted to get in my bed as quick as possible. So I made sure that this part of the bed always had all my bed sheets on it, all my pillows on it, and everything ready for me to go to sleep at any time. And then the option to have it bigger would be there if that was ever needed. I love antiques. So most of my van is furnished with antiques or local art. I love supporting local artists and buying things from locals when I go to different markets and stores around the country, because that's the best way to buy things, to support small businesses or to buy something that has already been manufactured so we don't have to make any new items and take resources from the environment. So underneath my bed, I have this drawer here. And this drawer has all of my art supplies in it. It's really nice because it makes it to where I can just sit here in bed and work and then use my table and craft things. So over here, I have some of my electronics. I forgot what most of these things are called. I did build everything myself. So everything in the van was built by me. And these hands, I have bruises to prove it. Underneath this seat, I have my battery. I have a 100 amp hour lithium ion battery. Underneath this portion of the bed, I have all of my electronics. So a 1,000-watt inverter. I have my MPPT. I have all of my different fuses and switches. I do have the ability to plug into Shore. And then on this side over here, I have my diesel heater, which I just had to replace. Tip for anyone who has a van or will have a van, do not run your diesel heater on low all the time because soot will build up inside of your diesel heater and then it will break. Please make sure that you put your diesel heater on high sometimes or it will break like mine broke and then you will have to do the whole thing all over again. I moved out to California and I started making jewelry with real flowers, and I started doing markets and vending at local markets. Soon I will be transitioning from primarily making flower jewelry to writing. I've always wanted to be a writer, and it's just really scary, honestly, to share your thoughts and your insides and show them to the world and hope that they don't think you're stupid. And I write poetry or write stories. I do tarot card readings, so I give people universal messages as well. And I'll be going back to California and starting to do that. So if you're ever in like the Southern California area and you would like to come see my booth and support someone who also supports other people, if you like to do things like that. Thanks for visiting me in my home. I hope you liked my van, and if this inspired you to do a van build, you're welcome to ask me questions. You can follow me on my Instagram for van life. It's Kath Slan. It'll be linked below. If you're interested in a poem or any type of writing, follow me on Typed on Time. Please follow me. And then for any real flower jewelry, that is Moss of Mind. Like I said, everything linked below. And I hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye!